Hi, it's Dwyer. It's August the 20th, 2019. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Let's talk football. But first, remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. I like the under on the Cleveland Browns win total this year, which is currently at 9.5 wins. Right? I'm expecting Cleveland to win 9 or fewer games. First, you have a second-year quarterback. I know he was the first player picked in the draft before last year, but people really didn't expect Baker Mayfield to be this good. So what's going to happen this year is that defensive coordinators are going to be a hell of a lot more prepared for this young, right, this relatively inexperienced quarterback. I think that's a negative. His head coach, Freddie Kitchens, very little head coaching experience, right? Very little head coaching experience. I also tend to fade first-year head coaches. Right? Kitchens may have been on a Nick Saban staff at one time. He may have been on a Bill Parcells staff at one time. Right? But this guy has very little head coaching experience. And that's going to be important here because his offensive coordinator is supposed to be a superstar, but yet Freddie Kitchens is going to be calling the offensive plays. Right? He's put together a team where he's still in control somewhat of what he does best as offensive coordinator. So this isn't going to be a head coach who, delegates to others and is really above the fray. No, this is a guy lacking in experience who's going to be serving really as his own offensive coordinator. Now, the problem with having a very talented guy on your staff, the guy with the title of offensive coordinator, is that if things go south early, if the offense doesn't click for whatever reason, right? Keep in mind, you have elite teams, the Patriots, who come out the gate slow year after year. If the offense comes out of the gate slow here in Cleveland, you're going to have members of the press saying, Freddie, you need to delegate the offensive coordinator duties. You can't have a guy who in the past has been a successful offensive coordinator on your staff and not allow him to call the plays. That leads to the next problem. The lack of recent winning history. I mentioned the Patriots earlier. Understand, Patriot fans have had so much success, have recently been to so many Super Bowls, that there's a certain level of trust that the fans have for people like Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. So if the Patriots come out the gate a little slow, right, which has happened in recent years, if they come out the gate a little slow, or if the quarterback gets suspended for whatever reason, right, overinflated footballs, etc., the fan base is not going to panic. Right? There's the feeling that the pilots of the ship know what they're doing, have handled adversity in the past, because they have the track record of success. In Cleveland, you have no such track record. Right? If Cleveland stumbles out of the gate and loses 3 of their first 4 games, there's going to be panic, folks. The fan base is not going to trust ownership or the coaching staff. Right? There's going to be panic. You're a gambler. You need to realize that a 9.5 over-under win total only allows you to lose 6 games out of the 16. right? You can't panic. You can't have, let's say, a 2-2 start or a 1-3 start, lead the local press to say, hey, change the coaching staff. What's Baker doing wrong? Maybe our running back is not who we thought he was. Maybe these players aren't who we thought they were. Right? The lack of a winning history is a concern for me. Let me say this too, and I say it unapologetically. I'm a Giants fan. Right? I've been a Giants fan since I was a little kid. I remember when Bill Parcells was the head coach. I even remember when Ray Perkins was our head coach. So you can imagine one of the best Giant players of the last 3 decades was Odell Beckham. Right? Excellent wide receiver on the field. No question about it. But there were always problems off the field. Right? This is a guy who gives interviews, and the interviews aren't exactly complimentary of other teammates even. Now, in a city like New York City, where there's so much going on, understand, half of the local NFL fandom isn't even focused on the Giants. They're focused on the Jets. Right? There's that much going on. You pick up the paper and Odell Beckham has made some idiotic comment somewhere. Well, guess what? Maybe a Met or a Yankee or a Knick or a Jet or a Ranger or an Islander has something really going on. Your attention is diverted. You're not really focused on the guy who doesn't seem to be able to have it together off the field. They're going to be focused on him in Cleveland, aren't they? Right? Smaller town. Higher hopes. Right? The latter part of Eli Manning's career, even Giant fans know, well, we're going to have some problems dealing with Philly, dealing with the Cowboys, dealing with some of these other teams in this division. Right? But in Cleveland, people really seem to feel that this is their year, don't they? They're really relying on Odell Beckham. Right? Now, I've seen other talented wide receivers have problems off the field that spilled into the locker room. Terrell Owens. Folks, I live in the Bay Area. Right? Terrell Owens was playing opposite Jerry Rice. Think about that Niner team. Right? Then Jerry moved on. Guess what? The team moved off Terrell Owens. Too many problems. Right now, in the Bay Area again, it's a redux. Antonio Brown. Spectacular player. Look at his numbers. Hall of Fame worthy. Who leaves Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin? Excellent quarterback, a coach who hasn't had a losing season in the NFL, a Steeler fandom that is loyal and has been loyal for decades. Right? Keep in mind, Tomlin and Ben together have been to multiple Super Bowls. Right? What wide receiver would leave that situation? Well, Antonio Brown did. We haven't played his first pro game as a Raider, and already he's had problems with his feet. Now he has problems with his helmet. The GM has had to single him out and say, hey, you're either with us or you're not with us, and stuff like that. Well, all I'm saying is Odell Beckham looks to me to be high maintenance. Right? You could say that's fair, you could say that's unfair. I think he's high maintenance. When I see high maintenance guys who are supposed to be guys you rely on, isn't Odell supposed to be their top rated receiver? Isn't the over-under number on Odell receiving yards over 1,200? I see all kind of problems there. Possible problems. Right? Let me say too, there's certain players who, when the team struggles, that player's in the foxhole with you. He's going to help you right the ship. These are the guys who, when the ship hits the iceberg, and it's a Titanic situation, these are the guys next to the captain trying to save the ship, trying to keep a level head, right? Then you have the players who, when the ship hits the iceberg, ooh, they really fall apart, right? You don't even want them giving interviews. In my opinion, and I'm a Giants fan and I love Odell Beckham, but that's who he is. This is gambling. This isn't the part of the world where we sit there and say, oh, I really think this guy, is a great player, right? We're looking at risks. There's a big downside risk with Odell Beckham Jr. Let's also be real, too. You're playing in the AFC North. That means 2 games against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Weren't they 9-6-1 last year? And that means 2 games against the Baltimore Ravens. Isn't that a Super Bowl ring on John Harbaugh's hand? Didn't this Raven team make the playoffs last year? Right, so understand, that's 4 games that the Browns are going to play against very tough, and I'm talking about now. Right? Very tough divisional rivals. That's not reassuring. That's not reassuring. In my opinion, Cleveland could easily go 2-2 or 1-3 in those games. Right? 3 losses against teams in the division. You only have 3 other losses you can afford if you're going to hit this 9.5 win total number against the rest of the league. I'm not buying it. Right? So you add it all up, and I believe Cleveland is under 9.5 wins. Right? Baker Mayfield is going to find out that defensive coordinators with an entire summer to study his pass pattern in the National Football League, not in college, but in the National Football League, are going to be able to throw wrinkles at him that could slow him down tremendously. Right? Too many ifs here with Cleveland. If Kitchens is a good coach. If Odell fits in. If the talent on paper grows up. If the team has a winning season for the first time in a long time. Right? Too many ifs for this gambler. I like the under 9.5 wins. Let's be clear too. The over-under is not 9 wins. If Cleveland wins 9 games, if they finish 9-7, we still collect because it's 9.5. I like the under 9.5 wins for the Cleveland Browns. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this video. And this video is being made on August the 20th, 2019. If there are any later developing situations that could impact this bet, someone gets hurt, someone gets suspended, the play calling duties change, etc., then I hope you leave those comments in the comment section of this video as the months roll by. Thanks for stopping by.